Hi, everybody. This is Orion Ray, and thank you for listening to Psychic Predictions with Orion Ray. Now, today is February the 18th, 2024, and I'm just going to kind of give you some information. I've actually had it for years now, and I think I've said it in earlier recordings. But I feel like everybody needs to hear it over and over and over. The vaccines that you were forced to have were all planned, okay? This was not just to have, it wasn't just for money. It was to see who was going to comply and who wasn't. This is all a trial run, okay? This is forming the way, this is paving the way for the nanoparticles. Now, in the nanotechnology, I guess is a better word for it. The nanotechnology are going to be basically ability to put something in your body, and it's going to be so tiny, microscopic particles, but they're going to be able to link, to a computer through Wi-Fi, right? This is going to give them the ability to do whatever they want with you. If they're like, oh, we're going to control population more, we're just going to give this person a heart attack, or we're going to give this person a stroke, or we're going to give this person, something that's similar to Parkinson's, or we're just going to simply kill this person. We're going to make this person crazy. Whatever they want to do, this is what they're trying to achieve in the end. They haven't quite gotten full ability to the nanotechnology, but they're very, very close. Like, very close. And you need to know what is going to happen. And it's just unbelievable. I don't even know. I mean, I had said this over and over and over, and they crashed my entire accounts down when I put this out several years ago. They destroyed my accounts completely, right? I guess it was 3 years ago. Completely wiped out all of my accounts, which told me right there I was right. Like, why would they wipe my accounts down if I was wrong? Like, they would just be like, oh, another conspiracy theorist, right? That wasn't what they did. They brought all of my accounts down. 5,000 or more. I mean, just 5,000 alone, just with Facebook at the time. Just Facebook alone. And it's just unbelievable. And again, they're going to see who is going to comply, because right now you are, I mean, think about what they're doing to you right now. You are paying your taxes, and you can't get health care, and you're paying all this money. You can't even survive to get your groceries or anything. People can't get housing, they can't get anything. Yet they let illegals in the country that you have to pay for, why your children can't even get it, why you, who have worked your entire life here, can't get any of these benefits, where our own vets who fought for our country, our freedom, and our rights are denied services as illegals are given the services. Now, how does that make sense, people? And any of you voting on the Democrats, I'm telling you now, you are voting for this. You are destroying yourself. You are destroying your family. And you have to sit back and go, why am I doing this? They're coming in, they're stealing your cars, they're taking your property, and they're putting your life at risk. And now they're attacking our police officers? Are you kidding me? Why in the world would any American citizen support this? Why would anybody ever support this? Because if you think that they care about you, if you think you're helping people, and you're helping illegals, let me tell you what, it doesn't matter what you think on that. The point is you're destroying your own fellow Americans. Listen to me, what I'm saying. You're helping illegals who are not from your country while you're destroying your own fellow Americans and your own veterans. Why in the world would you ever support something like that? It makes no sense. The thing is, I can see it clear as day. A lot of people can't see it, but I can. And I don't know how to continue to keep trying to get you to see what I can already clearly see. And they're not going to protect you. They're not going to do anything for you. And I've said it all along. This isn't, isn't just for people. It's not just for votes. They need bodies for a war. And I have put this out 3 years ago, folks. 3 years ago, I told you this. I said they are planning a war, and a war would be coming in November. And I couldn't see if it were 23 or 24. But and I even said at one point in one of the audios, is I wouldn't be surprised it's both. Why was exactly right? I was completely right that this started right in November after October the 7th, right? But it's coming again in November. And I'm trying to tell everybody what supplies to get, what you need to do, because the government will not take care of you. Why do you think that they will? They're already destroying you. They're already promoting illegals and foreigners over Americans, and you're letting it happen, people. I get that most of anybody listening to me on any of my channels, they're going to, I'm sure, think like I do. I don't think I have many folks listening that disagree. But if I can just get the point across to just one extra person, then maybe they can get a point across to the next person and continue, pay it forward. Folks, they're hacking everything you have. Unbelievable. They're stealing your cars. They're going to continue to steal your property, continue to take the cars. Where do you think these people are going to go? What do you think they're going to do? Okay? These sanctuary cities? Oh, okay. Oh, well, we're going to take them in. No, you know what? Now we're going to let them go because we can't take care of them. So we're just going to let them go out on the civilians. Oh, and by the way, we want you to house them in your own house. Are you kidding me? you'll never be able to evict them. You'll never be able to get them out. The government won't support you. They're never going to help you. Don't do that. They need to go back. They are not your problem, your family, and you, and your pets, and your home. That is your problem. That is what your problem is. Not them. They're not your responsibility. They're not your problem. So why are you doing it? Why are you hurting your fellow Americans where so many would come to your aid? And when we go to war, who do you think is going to be there to support you? Okay? This isn't a racial deal. Look around. Look at your fellow Americans. They're the ones that are going to have you in a war. They're going to have your back. People, those are the people that are going to have your back. Not foreigners. They're not going to have your back. Let me tell you something. This Mayorkas guy, evidently he comes in from Cuba. I don't know, 20, 25 years ago. I don't have the exact dates. But I know he's old enough to have loyalties, right? So if we're American and we go live in a foreign country and 20 years later, we're in charge of the border, where do you think our loyalties still lie? Really? You think your loyalties are going to be to the country that you're now living in? No. No. They're going to be where you were born and where you were bred in your early years, people. Born, not bred. Born and raised, not bred. That's where your loyalties are going to lie. Think about where your loyalties would lie. Okay? If you're American and you're in the United States for 20, 25 years, 30 years, and you go move to a foreign country, are you going to be loyal to them? Or are you going to be loyal to where your roots were and your family is from? How does this even happen? How can positions even be open to somebody that's from a foreign country? I don't understand. There should be certain limits. These should have to be no different than a president must be born in our country. These kind of positions have to have the same requirements. And it's going to take all of us to unite. It can happen. The problem with what I see is I can see 2 paths and sometimes even 3 in the predictions. And I can see how it's going to go if this happens. And I can see how it's going to go if this happens. In many cases, I can't see which way it's going to go. Is it going to go right or left? I don't know. In many cases, I don't know. But I can see what the result will be. And it's just devastating. Just devastating. And every time we give out any information, and one of my biggest worries is with any kind of lab work, blood work, hospitals. Let me tell you what, they're able to get your DNA. They're able to know everything about you. Everything. What is more private than your medical records? Well, nothing. Nothing's more private than your records. Your medical records. Nothing. Problem is, foreign countries are getting your information, along with the government, of course. And they can do anything, folks. They're going to engineer weapons that will be able to kill one race or one gender and not another. Just depends on what they select to do. Folks, this is already here. It just hasn't yet been used. But this technology is already here. And I wish that you could see what I can see, what I know. If you could even, for 1 minute, see what I can see, you would never again question what I'm telling you. It's just so unbelievable, people. And I don't even know how to label this audio. Because if they hear my information, there's a good chance they're going to take it down, right? Now, I'm going to get in. Oh my God, this goes so extensive. I'll have a separate audios with this too. So, a company named BlackRock, they have, I don't know how to say this just in regular terms because it gets so complicated. Just in layman terms. How can I describe this? So, I want you to go get 10 red marbles. And I want you to get all different color marbles. But I want you to have I want you to have 50 red marbles. And I want you, in each category I'm listing, I want you to put a different color marble in each category. So I want you to have, say, a yellow marble in, let's just say, food production, right? Land, farmland, ranches. So we're going to go put our yellow marble there. Then you're going to have a green marble in energy, right? So any kind of energy. Then we're going to put a blue marble in weapons, right? Then we're going to put a purple marble in defense companies. And the list goes on, okay? The list goes on. So all your red marbles are in this company called BlackRock. And under BlackRock, you have, let's just pick a color. I don't care what color. Pick a different color than we already have. So we'll pick we'll pick a pink marble. Well, we don't have pink marble. We'll put a black marble. So you have all these black marble companies that are all with this red, which is BlackRock. So I want you to take a marble from your center, all your red, and I want you to put a red marble in every one of those categories. And that is going to tell you the investors that are all involved from one company. Oh, and then you have to make another company that are your construction contracts to rebuild things after they destroy it. So what color do we want for that? Well, we're going to get a brown marble for that. So your defense companies are going to be the brown marble. Not defense, I'm sorry. Your construction companies, right? Those are going to be the companies that have the contracts to rebuild Ukraine or rebuild Gaza or whatever they want to rebuild, right? So again, and I want you, I want you to draw a line from your center red marbles called BlackRock. I want you to draw a line to all these other categories. And that line goes back to this center company. So this center company, BlackRock, is involved in every one of those. Well, who do you think some of those investors are? Oh, wait, we got to add in health too. I wish I would have made my BlackRock company a different color. So we're going to put the health as white marbles, all right? Major category there. So your company here, your BlackRock company, has all your top investors. And I don't even name their names because they're at this point irrelevant. I mean, their names, I can't say they're irrelevant, but because nobody will remember their names in general. Larry Flint being one, Bill Gates being another, but 4 major other ones. And they're all invested out of this company into every one of those categories. So Bill Gates is over here buying up all the farmland. He's over there in all of your health stuff, trying to force vaccines and medications on you. You have them in all these other categories. You have this Larry Flint guy in all these, I think that's that guy's name, in all of this, who is one of the major guys out of BlackRock. So again, I want you to put those marbles out, so you, please picture what I'm saying. Just in your center, put a bunch of those red marbles. And in each category, go put another marble. Okay? So, again, say our health was the white category. We'll take a red marble and stick it with that. So now you should have red marbles in every one of those categories. Then you have these subcontracting or sub-companies. And they're going to be invested maybe in different amounts to these different companies. So you have to go put whatever color we decided on those sub-companies. And you have to put them in those subcategories. And then you see really who is all involved in this. So what is their reasoning? You have to go pay their taxes. You have to pay taxes, money to them. Your money that you worked so hard for, so they can go start a war, and all the money gets invested into these companies and comes back out in food production or in weapons or in Lockheed Martin, Bell Helicopter, you name it. It is all affiliated with BlackRock. Okay? Which are all the same people, all affiliated in this. But you are paying for it. You are paying for it. I am paying for it. And what do? What's happening to us? Our people are getting killed, right? You're getting controls forced on you. You're getting medications forced on you. Pretty soon, I wouldn't be surprised if they reopen the draft, people. I am not kidding you. This is coming. Our military enlistment is seriously down. What do you think they're going to do if they don't have a significant amount of technology in AI? They're going to have to start drafting. Mark my words. And again, I can see how this is going to go if it goes right or if it goes left. So I can see two pathways. So much relies on how many of you will step up and say, no, we are not going to do it. We're not going to allow illegals. We're not going to allow this to happen. We are not going to have our money sent to foreigners while our vets and our American people are starving or don't have housing and don't have medical. It's unbelievable, people. And look at the warnings put out. Warnings were just put out about Russia being able to take out our satellites in space. Again, I can see if it goes right or if it goes left. Okay? If and when they take out our satellites, what do you think will happen? Everything goes down here. Power plants go down. Water plants go down. Production. There's no GPS. People, it's everything. Everything. Why do you think they came out and told you about it? Because they want to go back and say, well, I gave you warning. I gave you warning enough. But nobody's taking it seriously. They're trying to blow it off. Because the one congressman, what's his last name? Turner, I guess, released this information. I can't decide if they were ready for it, if it was a plan, and I can't quite decide who the plan was for. You know, in one aspect, could it be this guy, this congressman saying, I'm not going to have a guilty conscience. I'm going to step forward and I'm going to give out warning to the population because I represent them and they need to be able to understand what is happening. And then the other thing I look at is, oh, is this a promotion to support Ukraine in $60 billion? You know, because if they can justify Russia, you know, and the threat from Russia taking out our satellites, oh, is that a way to go and just get more support to Ukraine? I don't know. Could be both, right? I don't know. I don't know what the true agenda is. I can't see that. I actually think it is both. But I cannot see that. I'm just, you know, taking a guess at that part. But you must be listening to what I say because they work for us. The government is supposed to work for us, the citizens. That's not the way it's happening. That is not the way it is happening. Our way of life, our culture, our democracy is being destroyed. Our Constitution is being destroyed, people. Look at what they did just during COVID. I want you to really open your eyes and sit back and go, what did they do during COVID? Well, what are your main rights? What are your main freedoms? Freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, the right to bear arms. Correct? And you should have freedom to make your own choices with your own body. Am I correct? Should be. But I don't know if that's actually in there. But I would think it maybe could go under freedom of speech because you should be able to say right, you know, yes or no. There's got to be, you know, rights, and then it goes into criminal rights. Well, you know, can a criminal have the right to make their own choices? Yeah, in many cases. Yeah, in many cases. So, you know, our Constitution is just being destroyed by these left-wing people and the people that are uneducated. That people don't see what's really going on. And I am just beyond trying to get this through, but we got to do it. There's some of us that need to try to get this across. Because a lot of people, they just look and go, oh, well, I'm a Democrat. They've given me free money, so I'm going to stay that way. Folks, they're not giving you anything free. No longer are Americans getting anything. It's all being taken from you, folks. Given to foreigners. Why is that? I want you to sit down for 1 minute. And I want you to think to yourself, why are they doing that? What is the reason? Why would they do that? Why would our government, who works for us, go do that? Go destroy our rights? Make us pay for illegals and foreigners coming in our country instead of for ourselves? Who would do that? Why? People, why? Please. If any of you doubt me, please research it. And for those of you that know I'm telling you the truth, please get the message out. It's just unbelievable. And I want you to think back about what they did to you 2 and 3 years ago. Okay? So sit down. We're going to take one at a time. Your freedom of speech. And I was evidence of that. Folks, they took our freedom of speech. Anybody that didn't agree with their agenda, they brought their accounts down. Anybody that was a Trump supporter, they brought the accounts down. Everything. It was just unbelievable. So they took your freedom of speech, people. They took your freedom of speech, and they did this at the time of an election year. You know that. COVID happened during an election year, pretty much. So, how did they do that? How did they force a medication on you? How did they force you to stay inside your home? Right? Because if you went out, one, if they could let you get out, then maybe you would be able to have freedom of speech. Because if you're out, that doesn't have anything to do with accounts. You still have the right to go speak to. But no, they kept you in. They destroyed every bit of freedom with that. Number 2, the right to bear arms, right? Oh, they're coming after that. People, they are coming after you that. And I am telling you now, every criminal out there has a weapon. You don't, right? I mean, no, I can't say you don't, but anyone sensible would. Anybody is sensible would have a weapon, because you're like, well, criminals are always going to have weapons. What am I going to do? How am I going to protect myself and my family, my home? Well, you can't. And they don't want you to be able to. They want to control you, people, because the right to bear arms is protecting every one of your other rights. The right to bear arms is probably the most important right that we have. Because what are you going to do without it? Did you think anybody's going to protect you? No, they're not going to protect you. I've already had to go through it myself. They're not going to do that. This is up to you. Folks, it is up to you to protect yourself. It is up to you to be prepared. Nobody is going to do it for you. They might like to tell you they will, but they're not. They're not. They're not in your best interest. And if you believe they are, you are delusional. And I don't say that to be mean. I'm trying to get you to wise up. I'm trying so hard to get you to understand the truth. And I don't know why it's so hard, how they have y'all so brainwashed. For you people that actually believe them, I don't understand. I mean, you witnessed all this stuff yourself. You witnessed your rights being taken away. I don't need to prove that to you. You already lived through it. You already saw it, folks. You already saw it. It already affected you. So how in the world can you turn around and say it's okay? So they forced mask upon you, which again violates a freedom of speech, by the way, because they can't put anything on you. They can't put face coverings on you. What do you think people that were deaf, how do you think they communicated? How did the ADA not step into this? Tell me that. How did the ADA get by without stepping into this in the violation of that, the violation of the ADA? Because I'm telling you, they violated it. You think that people that are deaf that rely on reading lips for communication, what they do in the mask? How do you think kids learn? You think it's all just hearing? No. Of course it's not. A majority of it. I want to say a lot of it. I don't know what the actual percentage is visual learning. And many people are visual learners, not audio learners. And I mean, it's just a known fact. But yet, people let it happen. What if somebody came up to you and said, oh, you're not going to wear that tonight? You know what? In abuse cases, the abusers will dictate to somebody what they're going to wear. The people that control them, they're going to tell them what to wear, what they can wear, what they can't wear. It is no different, people. It depends on who is the abuser and who is the victim and who's letting it happen. People, please really sit down. Listen to what I'm telling you. I don't have any reason to make it up. I can't make it up. It happened to you. I can't change anything that happened. You're aware of it. So the right to bear arms. They're going to do everything and anything they can to take one right away from you that would allow you independence, that would allow you your freedom still, allow you protection. But no, they take the right to bear arms away from you. They take your guns away from you. Well, that makes you dependent and reliant on them, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, right? Because what are you going to do if you don't have that? Oh, well, I've got to call for help from somebody. I need somebody to come handle this for me. Are you kidding me? They didn't even take care of you during a freeze. They're going to take care of you in that. Please. And then there becomes a point where it's overwhelming. Look what they're doing to the police officers just in New York. You see it. I'm not making it up. Well, how are they going to handle multi-people doing that if the civilians can't protect themselves? Are you kidding me? Listen to what I'm saying. Because the right to bear arms, your right to own that weapon, to own a gun, to stand your ground, is the only thing defining you as either a slave or a citizen. It's the only difference, people. You got to decide which one you want to be. Because right now, we're a slave. Again, they are forcing you to pay taxes for other folks. You're working those jobs, and you've been working, and you're denied your money, and it's given to them? What is the definition of slavery? That is a prime example of slavery, people. You are a slave. I am a slave right now. This is what people are allowing. Why do you want to be a slave? Because if you do not step up and fight for your rights, you are a slave, and that's exactly what's happening. You go out and work, and you are forced to pay money that you don't get the benefits from, such as medical and many, many other things, housing, and you are forced through taxes. And if you don't pay your taxes, you go to prison, and they confiscate your property. So you are forced as a slave to pay your taxes to a government that's supposed to be working for you. And this is what's happening. How do I make this more clear? I get so angry at this because the simplest things I can't get people to see and understand. It's just, oh my God, it's unbelievable. So right now, it's all I want you to remember is right now, with this current government, you are a slave. You are nothing but a slave right now. And I don't care how much money you make, you're still a slave. You are being forced to pay for others while you work, and you are declined the benefits from your job, from what you're working for. It's disgusting, people. It's so disgusting. And anybody that's standing up so for your rights, for your freedoms, they're trying to take them out. Look what they're doing to Trump. They're trying to remove him because he's standing up for you, for me, for many of us, so we're not slaves. So we don't cater to a foreign government who is trying to take over everything and every one of our freedoms. Let's go on to the next one, freedom of religion. What'd they do with you in that during the so-called pandemic? Well, they stopped you from going to church. You know why? because they don't want your freedom of speech. You know what? If they can stop your freedom of speech, where you don't have any contact, folks, what happens then? That was all it was. Bring down your religion, your freedom of religion. Well, there goes your freedom of speech, right? There goes any ability to learn from somebody else, from somebody that might know what's actually going on, that might actually give you a different agenda and why things might really be happening. What was the one thing they made sure they closed? The churches. They closed your churches. And nobody fought, or very few people fought. Very few people fought. And it was just unbelievable. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Freedom of assembly, same thing. You assemble, well, you can get your point across. You can tell people the truth. You can use your freedom of speech, right? Oh no, but if they can stop your freedom of assembly, which they did, they confined you to your house and prevented you from any socialization. That's exactly what they just did to you. It hasn't even been the 3 years. I mean, what have you forgotten? Because I haven't. Like, how did these people forget what they did to them? How did they forget? It's impossible to forget, because I remember. The whole world remembers. The thing is, we're America. We're not a communist country, but they're trying to make us one. So why in the world are you voting for that? Why are you voting to be a slave? Why are you voting for a government who is not working for you, who is working for themselves, and you're taking all your money and declining you benefits, and they're giving it to foreigners? Why would they do that? Why do they do that? Well, of course, what are they doing it for? Money and control. The two things that really do everything. Two things: money and control. So, why is Bill Gates buying up all the farmlands? And I'll have other audios on this. I'm just running through this real quick. Why would he do that? Because he is trying to produce food that isn't real, right? Meats that aren't real. And his reports have even said, from what I could come across, and I don't have a reference, so I prefer to have a reference on this, but he actually doesn't want the first world countries to have access to any of that. He wants them to have the engineered food. Like, it's just unbelievable. So if you buy up all the farmlands, who's actually in control of your life? If you can't get food, what are you going to do? Think about this, people. What is their agenda? Why would they be doing this? Why would he be doing this? Why is somebody that is a tech guy so involved in medication? Because I don't know anything about him having a medical degree. I don't know anything. I've never seen him have a medical degree. It is against the law, folks. I'm telling you right now, it's against the law for anyone who doesn't have a medical degree to give out medical advice. It's not legal, people. Why is this happening? Why is he allowed to do this? Well, again, it goes back to money and control. You pay out the money, you get the control, right? Or vice versa. Well, how is this happening? But the thing is, why are you letting it happen? Why are you letting it happen? And mark my words, this is what they're going to try next. They're going to try to give these illegals the right to vote. This is a huge part of their plan. It's not all their plan, but they're try to give them the right to vote, and then they're going to start a draft. right? Because if they can stay in power, if they can continue their war, the draft will come after the election if they remain in power. If Trump can take back the presidency, if the Republicans can take back the presidency, then it very well could stay okay. But this is just horrible. I'm so glad some of the folks that have been under the belief that, the Democrats are going to give them money and do this, that they're finally waking up, that they're finally our homeless Americans and our vets. And, I think vets have always known, but, the homeless and the poor folks, a lot of the, I don't even know if that's a proper word to use, and I'm not trying to be offensive. But they've been brainwashed. They have been brainwashed their whole life to believe, these are the ones that are going to take care of you. No, they're not. But so many are waking up. So many are like, hey, what is really going on? Oh my God, I couldn't believe when last week I saw a vet. I believe he was a Korean. I can't remember if he was Vietnam or Korean. I think it was Korean. He wasn't Korean, but he fought in the Korean War. And they removed him out of his skilled nursing facility to move illegals in. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they took kids out of their schools and put them back in remote learning to move illegals into their schools. The kids have already been damaged from COVID and the stay-at-home orders and the mask. And they wonder why they have mass shootings? Are you kidding me? COVID did this. This is what the result is of removing socialization from children. Okay? This is one of the results. But I have to also have to wonder, and I cannot go on record with any kind of proof, because this is, again, what I'm fixing to tell you, what I'm about to tell you is what I see, but I don't have that proof of documentation, that reference behind me yet. But I think, and I really, really believe this, that the chemicals that were placed in the vaccines somehow affected the mentality of these kids, these mass shooters. I don't know how yet, but I believe that. I believe that there is some kind of chemical reaction in this. They had no testing, right? They just rushed this through. There was no long-term testing on any of this. And all this stuff is happening all pretty much around the same time. Sure, we've had mass shootings before, but not like now. Nothing like now. So, is this all related? I can tell you 100% that declining children from socialization is going to cause this. But I don't yet know the scientific, the scientific proof of what I think the chemicals could have been in that were injected into children. Why in the world would anybody inject chemicals into their kids? Why would they do that? And they're still trying. Why in the world are kids being injected with this stuff right now as I speak to you? Why is this happening? Those kids aren't going to get sick. This isn't even to the point of what it was before. Like, this Omicron variant or whatever it is. This isn't anything like it was before. So why are they trying to inject your kids with this stuff? What's their reasoning? Well, it's money. Of course, it's money and control. Two things I've already told you about. Money and control. All of it. That's all it is. But why would a parent allow that? Why would anybody do it? Like, why would anybody take this? It is causing blood clots a lot. It's causing heart attacks a lot. Younger people are dying like at massive rates compared to the average. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yet people are still willing to go put this chemical in their kid's body, knowing that this was happening, but yet knowing that their children aren't going to die from this. Why would they do that to their kids? Why would they do that? How can someone be so brainwashed to do this? Why aren't they just stepping up and saying, no, I'm not going to do it? Why wouldn't they do that? Well, I don't know why they're not doing it. I just can't. Some of these people that take this are so educated, and I just sit back and go, you're such a smart person to fall for this. Like, how does that happen? New report just came out. Oh yeah, because Bill Gates bought farms up, continue to buy all the farmland. I just saw reports, but again, I don't have the references I want to put right in front of you until I research more, I'm not going to do that. But what I did see is that they want to come after your gardens, your private gardens. Oh, because of what, emissions or something? I don't know what it's really called. Having to do with the global warming or so forth. Are you kidding me? Your private garden. Well, what would be the real agenda for doing that? You bring down your private garden, you're forced to buy any of those products. No longer can you be independent. No longer can maybe you help your neighbors out or people around you if you are able to garden some yourself. Nope, no longer is that an option. That makes you dependent upon the government, upon Gates, right? The more I see, I'm just like, oh my God. And I just saw that come out. And I just sat there a minute and thought, there's no way. Like, just oh my God. It's unbelievable. So, they don't want you to have your own meats. They want you to have engineered meats. And now they want to keep you from growing your garden? And they want to take your guns away? And your freedom of speech away? And your church away? And your right to socialize? And they want to force horrible substances into your body? And now they're going to try to chip you? Which is going to link to a computer, and they can just turn you on and off? Listen, please review what I just told you just then. Every one of those things. You don't need to believe me. You need to research what I'm telling you. You don't have to believe me, but you need to research it. Because you're going to have to make decisions. You need to make decisions at least. Don't rely on the government to make your decisions for you. You're not dumb. And you're born free, but yet you're a slave right now. So things got to change, and it's going to be up to you, me, to unite, to change these things. Just law enforcement being attacked as criminals are just let go back on the population. Like, what is going on? Like, what is going on here? And thank God, thank the good Lord I'm in Texas. I mean, just
more than anything, thank you, God, for letting me be in Texas, because we have a governor who's going to stand up for our rights, who's going to say, we're not going to allow this. We're never again going to allow this. Never again will our religion be crashed down. Never again is our freedom of speech going to be crashed down. And we're certainly going to do everything we can to protect our right to bear arms. I mean, and we're going to stop an invasion, an entire invasion coming at us. And we're going to protect our family and ourselves and our property. And thank God we got a governor who's willing to stand up against the tyranny of our U.S. government right now. And it's so sad for me to have to say that, but this is what I see. This is what I see, and we've already lived through it. And I love America. I do, but it's just been devastating over the last 3 years. It's just been, something like I'd never thought I would live through, like ever see. I grew up in a time that this would have never happened. Freedom was what we fought for. And we fought to prevent from becoming slaves. That was everything that our ancestors, our forefathers fought for. And it's just horrible what, the thought that the vets are being declined, medical as they give it to illegals just blows my mind. Why are the illegals even here? They have their own country. If they have problems in their own country, then they all need to unite and fight their country. They need to do exactly what I'm asking you to do. I'm not telling you go use violence, okay? I'm not telling you go use violence. But in their country, if they're dealing with violence, they're going to have to respond with it. Because they're not going to get anywhere by peace talks if their entire country is violent. They're not going to get anywhere from running away. You got to stand up. You got to stand your ground. And we need to prevent this from happening here. How are you going to do that? Well, you're going to stand your ground and you're going to unite. And you're going to try it peacefully. And I'm not saying there'll be a time that won't work. I don't know. I can see it go right or I can see it go left. I can see it go both ways. I just don't know which way it will go. Unfortunately, I know which way it will go depending on who is elected. It will be okay if Trump is elected, if the Republicans go forward. If the left is elected, we're in a lot of trouble. And there will be a war, regardless of who gets president. I'm telling you that now. Regardless of who gets president, there's going to be a war coming. There's going to be fights, violence, and war. There's going to be a civil war. I don't know how far it will go. I don't. That I can't see. But it's coming. And the only way to prevent a civil war that will at least stop quickly is if the Republicans are in office. Because that's just there's so many things I can go on and on and on about. How could... So you go and you look back at the past Civil War. I'm not going to get into this really right now. But the past Civil War, the South were Democrat, and Lincoln and the Union were Republican. And I'm not going to say any more than that, but that's truth. I don't know how anybody doesn't know that, but they don't. They don't. And so how was the country united back? Well, it was united through the Republican Party, which would have been Lincoln, as we all know. It just, when they don't teach you what they should in history, this is the result of things that happen, because you have these communist and socialist people getting here, and they're teaching at the colleges or teaching at school levels, and they're inflicting their abuse upon you. And oh my God, I have to make another recording over this. Karl Marx said, I don't know when it was, back in Cold War, I don't even know when it was. I have no idea, so don't quote me on that. For all I know, it could have been 50 years before then. I don't know. But the one thing he said was, the way we're going to destroy capitalism, we're going to destroy a democracy, is from within itself, because it's the only way we can. So they set out, and this is exactly what they did. Karl Marx goes on through all his writings to say how they would do it, and they're doing it exactly what they're doing now. And they did. He said in his writings, this is going to be 50 years for this to happen, but we're patient, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what they're doing. And he knew if he could destroy the family unit, that was your strength right there. The family unit was your strength, and if you could destroy your family unit, you had a really good chance of destroying all the environment coming after that, everything, because your family unit is your main thing. So by doing so many of this, by placing, I'm going to call them sleepers, they're really not sleepers, but by placing them in those college professor positions, by promoting women's lib constantly against men. This all contributed to the destruction of the family unit. And this is what would happen. This is what would result. And it's in all his writings. Karl Marx, it's in every one of his writings. This is called Marxism. And they've been able to achieve what they wanted to achieve. And the only way to stop their plans is if that election goes in the Republicans' favor come November. Think about what I'm saying. I'll have many more audios in this, and I'll try to break it up into smaller categories, because this is a long audio tape, and I'm sorry for those of you that are like, I only wanted to listen to something short. But I don't have any reason to lie to you. This is what's happening, but you've seen it for yourself. So God bless, stay safe, and thanks for tuning in to Ryan Ray.